To me, overregulation is what feeds the black market.
Right.
The more involvement there's more rules you have to follow, the more expenses they layer on you to follow their rules, the more expensive your product becomes, and the more attractive the black market becomes. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that regulators get in the way, and it feeds the black market.
And we are back with MITA Unshackled here at MjBizCon for the state-by-state takeover. My name is Max Juhasz from Dope SEO, and my wonderful co-host here today.
Howdy, Jeff Scrabeck with DIZPOT. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us. And look forward to an interesting conversation.
Yeah, we're definitely here talking about an interesting state. I'm going to lean back as per Eric so I don't block everything. So I'm going to totally just do this whole thing now so that the camera looks like I'm leaning back and old man thing.
Relax.
Just everybody chill.
Take a load off.
We're going to talk about Mississippi today. And I have a very knowledgeable gentleman here.
Thank you. Jeff Schmidtke, Noble Labs. We are a dedicated processor in Mississippi. And yeah, it's been a pretty fun, wild ride onboarding the program and getting started.
Mississippi is an interesting state. I remember last year I was there it was right before everything went legal, or it just went medical. I think this is interesting because I can tell the story, but you live there. I only know what I've heard. So from my understanding, the state of Mississippi, the residents of Mississippi took the state government to the Supreme Court to get medical marijuana passed. Am I right or am I wrong?
Sort of.
Okay.
There was a grassroots initiative under the Mississippi Constitution to enact a ballot initiative.
Okay.
And so that was started by the citizens of Mississippi.
Okay.
So they went through that process, acquiring the necessary amount of signatures, and achieved that.
Right.
Once that was met, then it went on to the ballot.
Right.
Ballot initiative passed with 75% of the vote.
75% of the state vote, right?
Yes.
That's, so
of the
75% of the voters voted for medical cannabis.
For medical cannabis.
And then what happened?
Then the S hit the fan.
Right. This is where it gets interesting.
All right.
Yeah, this is the best part of the story.
Can I curse?
Yes, absolutely. Fuck it, curse all over.
The shit hit the fan.
The shit hit the fan.
So the state of Mississippi was then sued by a mayor of Madison, which is a city in central Mississippi. And that case went all the way up to the Mississippi Supreme Court, and the lawsuit was held up. And the ballot initiative not only failed, essentially, they then eliminated all ballot initiative opportunities for the entire state. So currently, Mississippi has lost that ability that it once had prior to the cannabis initiative for any ballot initiative.
That's crazy.
For any topic, for any category, for any law. So the state was then met with a decision because 75% of the population
wanted medical cannabis.
Represented the interests of that.
That was the interest of the state.
So cooler heads prevailed in the end, and they were able to work out a legislative bill that did end up eventually passing.
As soon as they learn that they may not get reelected because of their stance, because 75% of the people are in favor of something that they're opposing.
Yes, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Their mind changes quite quickly.
That's a significant amount of support.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear about anything passing at a 75%, like 75% of the population voted for it, but we're going to say no. Like that doesn't.
Not a good look.
Yeah, not a good look.
So I think at the end, it happened.
Right.
And win-win, call it, perhaps. The legislature felt that they had some say in it. The initiative was ultimately successful at the end of the day, and Mississippi did pass and is now operating under a medical cannabis program.
Right.
And look, to give credit to the end result, Governor signed the bill. I mean, less than 12 months, patients are receiving medicine.
Yeah.
So the turnaround is impressive.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
We got to work, or not
Yeah.
me, but the
entire
entire state.
Yeah.
Got to work.
It's like, and this is the thing. It's because I was there when everything was passing. You know what I mean? And then you come back a couple months later and you see everything in operation. The dispensaries opening up, the grows opening up. And I think with Mississippi, because you had a state with 75% of the population wanting, you guys. Mississippi's very unique because I feel like it's a big, small state, but everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
Within and the cultivators know everybody, the dispensary owners.
Yes.
There's like,
It's
you guys
incestual.
all you guys all
Sure.
work together, in a sense.
It's been very cohesive so far,
Yeah.
for sure. There are trade associations that have formed, and a significant amount of the operators are participating in one or both or all of them. And so everyone is on the same page to really just improve on what we've gotten,
Right.
which ultimately is pretty good. I mean, we came out, I think Mississippi did a pretty good job out the gate with the parameters of the program.
Right.
It's extremely business friendly. It's not quite, dare I say, Oklahoma, but it's also not at all like Louisiana, their neighbor.
Right.
Which is, hyper restricted.
Hyper restricted. It's pharmacies only, and there's only like 4 different companies or 5.
Two cultivators.
2
processors,
cultivators.
yeah. So it's been great for us as a processor to identify smaller micro grows, medium-sized independent companies that are doing a really good thing with their canopy and their operation. Because at the end of the day, what we do, we can't do it without the cultivators,
Right.
as well as the dispensaries, obviously.
And how many license holders are there? And it's not a vertical situation, obviously.
There's over 50 processor cultivators.
Okay.
There's, I'd say, right about 100 active dispensaries.
Okay.
So, to date, there are no caps on licensing.
Right.
That has given a lot of opportunity to Mississippians to
Right.
participate.
When we first got into that marketplace, there was very few cardholders.
Yeah.
How's that improved, and what are the qualifications that people need to get a card in Mississippi?
Yeah, there's maybe a couple dozen qualifying conditions, which for most patients seeking medicine, cannabis medicine, typically can meet the criterias.
At least one of the qualifying conditions.
Not
Yeah.
everyone.
Not
though.
everyone.
Not everyone.
Right.
That's one thing that we are working on diligently to expand.
I think what's interesting is in Mississippi, don't you have to because in most states you can get a virtual consult. In Mississippi, you have to see a doctor in person the first time, and then you can like you have to see an in-person doctor and go through whatever the process is for that to get approved for a medical card. But yeah, has it hit 40,000 yet or 50,000 patients yet?
We just touched 30.
Just touched 30?
30,000.
That's still amazing from a state where, from my understanding, like they didn't, even when you took or were approved and you got the card, it still were just taking a little bit of time for you to get the card. And it's been, what, a year?
We cleaned it up very quickly with the onboarding of the patients.
Right.
There was a pretty significant backlog of folks in queue waiting for their cards to come through. We got with the legislature in the 2023 session and cleaned some things up, and it sped up the process tremendously. I mean, people are getting their cards now within 24 hours of
that's awesome.
of their consult.
Yeah.
So that has helped quite a bit.
Still, 30,000 is a pretty good jump.
Yeah, from 2,800 to 30,000 in 8 months time ish.
Tough to have an industry with 2,800 customers
Yeah.
and 100 dispensaries.
Yeah.
We know that?
Yeah, 2,900 patient holders, 100 dispensaries. We all get 1.2.
You get one customer a day.
Yeah.
I think what that breaks
I
down
can
to.
sell
if you-
3
if you
edibles a
do
week
math.
to the dispensaries. Yeah.
Today you go here, tomorrow you go there. Buy your pre-roll today, and then go shop in such and such.
What's your case size? 1.
Oh,
We have 1. Yeah.
yes.
But to get to your point about the telemedicine, no, currently that's not permitted. You do have to go on site. You have to physical consult with the physician. Again, we're working towards making that a little bit easier for the folks in Mississippi.
Right.
Telemedicine is widely practiced throughout the country, and we're pushing for that in the next legislative session. All signs point to it happening. It eliminates the burden of getting out, physically meeting with the physician.
Well, some medical patients might not be able to get out
Yeah,
and
well,
meet with the physician.
that's what I mean, because it's basically, from my understanding, it's 18 or older or 21 and over, but there are plenty of senior citizens that can't drive, can't, operate a vehicle, can't get out or make an appointment without a caregiver or somebody to take them. So or they're just not technologically savvy enough to like call and make an appointment and use.
Right.
All of those points are extremely valid.
Yeah.
Some folks don't even have an email address.
Right. Right.
So we've physically helped potential patients like just set up an email address. It's part of the requirement to get into the portal.
That's kind of crazy too. It's like literally, it's like we're gonna help. Here you go. This is Gmail.
Yeah.
This is how you create a Gmail, and you have to use this. And
It's
do
so
they call?
confusing.
Do they call you if are you like the Google guy? Like, do they call you if they get locked out?
Well, our dispense.
I've locked myself out
How
of
do
my
I find
email.
my-
How do I get to
How
Google?
do I get my password?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I know I have an email address, but I have no idea how to access it. Or my son knows my password, or.
Oh. Yeah.
Good stuff.
But
Yeah.
look, it's okay. It's part of the gig. We know our responsibilities. We're happy to help. We're happy to assist and support. Growing this program. There's a lot of potential in Mississippi. The 76% vote is big.
It's huge. It's huge. And I think actually with that now, I mean, if you went from 2,800 to 30,000 in 8 months, that obviously shows that the approval rate was there. The people want it. And I think that even some of the people that were against it are now seeing the benefits of medical cannabis, of the medical program.
100%. There's
Yeah.
so many stories now.
Yeah, so many stories, and like, oh, it actually helps. It's not the devil's lettuce, you know?
The sky is not falling.
Yeah, this guy is not falling.
So I'd be interested in learning more about Noble's products. You're a lab.
Yeah, we're-
He's got a really cool company.
Yeah,
He's got a
I
really
know.
cool company.
I'd like to hear about it.
Okay.
So would everybody else.
We have a very great team, right? Made up of several amazing people. But we are dedicated processors. We are not cultivators. While we do have an on-site dispensary, we are not in the retail lane. We are not opening more dispensaries, and we are never going to cultivate. We like our friendships and we like our partnerships with the growers, and we like our partnerships and relationships with the dispensaries, and we don't want to ever feel like we are interfering with their model. So we sit nicely in the pocket. I like where we're at. As far as our products, the sky's the limit with processing, right?
Right.
I mean, you can do anything really, but we have to be patient and we have to be conscious of the market size because it's pretty small still. That being said, we try to identify the entire segment of the patient population and provide at least one thing for that particular type of patient, from topicals all the way to live resin, concentrate, dabs. So we've had fun with the topicals, which is an interesting piece of this whole puzzle. But we do the edibles and the carts, vape carts, pre-rolls, infused pre-rolls.
Well, obviously, since you're making everything, like, have you seen a trend shift in what people are buying and what people are purchasing and what's selling more, like what's popular versus what's not popular?
I would say I don't have all the data or, sorry, the
What are you guys
accurate
selling
data.
more of, basically?
But
'Cause
I think I could be wrong on this, but I think that the manufactured products might be a little bit more than 50% of the market.
Wow.
That, I think, has to do with the demographic of our patients.
Right.
And the median age and the novelty of...
What is the median age?
It's like 62, I think.
No
early
kidding.
The
on.
median
Wow.
age of medical card holders in Mississippi is 62.
As of like summer, I think that's where we're at now. That's going to come down.
Yeah, but that's amazing, actually. If you think of it, like what
Arizona used to be like 22 62.
Right. No, but what I was going to say, if you were to guess the median age of any cannabis
30.
user, it would be 30, 35.
Yeah.
You said 62. That's like, that's a lot of
Well, that lends
grandmas
itself,
need their medicine.
for processing, that's the place you want to be because that demographic tends to slide more towards edibles in particular. Right. I mean, I play golf with a bunch of old guys, and they're all bragging about how they eat edibles.
Right. I had to come in and hit them.
Right.
They're not sure what a dab is, but they certainly know what a tincture is.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that was a bit of a shock for us because those things were moving pretty quickly, and we're like, wow, this is like our most vanilla product.
Yeah. Right. But for them, it's wonderful. I don't have. It doesn't smell. It's not going to smell in my clothes.
Right.
I can shoop shoop. No,
my wife's not going to know when I get home that I'm stoned as fuck.
Right.
It's easy and effective.
Yeah.
But that age, that median age will come down over time. But for like the 18 to 25-year-old range, you need 2 physician consults.
Oh,
which
really?
Is a
They have
bit,
different requirements based on your age. It's a sliding scale.
Correct.
How?
Well, it's
that?
parental, because I think it's technically a 21 and over, but if you're under 21, as long as you're a certain age, you have to have either a caregiver or your parents' permission.
Correct. Sure.
To go
under
in
21.
And under 21. Yeah. You need a parent and a caregiver to give you the permission.
18 to 21.
18 to 21.
Oh, it's 18 to 21. And then
but
if you're over 21,
but
I thought it was
the age for the 2 consult requirement goes up to 25.
Okay.
So we're working to correct that. Maybe make it from 18 to 20. You need a 2 physician consult. From 21 and up, it's just like everyone else.
Yeah, look, you could go buy beer. Like why do you need your mom to come with you to?
You're right.
Yeah, I mean.
It deters people from entering the legal market, and you don't want to enable an unsafe, illicit program. You want to bring people into a safe, consistent program. The testing standards are rigorous, but fair.
Yeah.
It keeps things clean. It keeps things consistent and safe. And I think as a state lawmaker or legislator, it's important to enable that, not dissuade that. So I think we will gain some traction. I hope in the 24 session to maybe eliminate that 2 physician consult piece.
So I got a weird question, and it's got nothing to do with the medical. Have you seen, because you've obviously been there since the beginning, and there's, I think every state, every market has the black market, gray market, whatever we want to call it, the legacy market, the illicit market to now to the legal market. Have you seen a trend shift in that? Has there been a lot of change in the mindset of that? I mean, because I think that as states go legal, like some people convert. Like in certain states, I've seen people go legacy to legal. In other places, it's like the legacy leaves or goes deeper underground, or they try to get into it and work with it. And obviously, it's not like people in Mississippi weren't smoking weed before it went legal. I mean, if 75% of the states voting for medical cannabis, obviously there's some cannabis being passed around in Mississippi.
Sure.
So how have you seen a shift? And then as it continues, obviously with the growth of it, I don't want to assume anything. What's your take?
I think as that median age comes down, that's where you're going to start to see the shift happening.
Okay.
Yes, of course, it is on some level. Is it in a significant way? I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet, but it has somewhat.
Okay. Okay.
See, to me, overregulation is what feeds the black market.
Right.
The more involvement there's more rules you have to follow, the more expenses they layer on you to follow their rules, the more expensive your product becomes, and the more attractive the black market becomes. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy that regulators get in the way, and it feeds the black market.
Well, the reason I'm asking this, though, is because I know, Mississippi has because Arizona went medical first, right?
Yep.
What was the allotment for medical?
As far as
Like if you were a medical patient, how much could you buy? Every month.
I want to. God, I can't. Maybe 3 ounces.
Okay.
I'm not positive
Is that
on that.
okay? What is Mississippi's though?
It's 3/4 of an ounce a week.
Right.
Okay.
So they're
And
allowed.
then there's like conversion rates for edibles and manufactured products.
They do.
Yeah. So
That doesn't get thought through by a lot of states, by the way.
Oh, I don't want to tell you about the missing zero somewhere in their allotment tracking either. That's a whole other conversation. No, there's a missing zero in there, and the math does not add up no matter how you do the math.
As a processor of edibles, I will not disagree.
Yes. No, there's, and it's not like the first. It's like the 4th decimal point over, because they went as far. It was like 5 decimal points in. It was like you are allowed to have 1 point whatever. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like if you're only allowed like 3/4 of an ounce a week, and it resets. I mean, it resets. It tracks the time. If you bought your 3/4 of an ounce on Thursday at 3 p.m., you can't buy until
301 the next week.
The next week. Yeah. But so.
And it's also a bit difficult for the patients to track what they have available.
Right.
That's been a frustration for patients, but also dispensaries, because they're getting, I'd say half their phone calls could be patients saying, hey, how many units do I have available?
What am I allowed to buy?
We're, I think, working on ways to make it easier for patients to know that before they go to the dispensary.
If they're tracking it, it should be visible on a website of some sort.
That's a
that
conversation.
should word. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah, that's a conversation for this. But, all right, Eric's told us to wrap it up. Jeff, how do people meet you? First off, you've been awesome, dude. Like I love Mississippi. I think what Mississippi's done is fantastic, and just seeing what you've done has been great. And I really appreciate you jumping on and doing this. How do people find you? I mean, how do people reach you? What's
Yeah, I mean, Noble Labs, Google us. NobleLabsMS.com is our website, at Noble Labs MS. We're young, but we're having fun.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's a beautiful thing.
We're rocking and rolling.
Cool. Anything that anybody what do you 2024? Are we hopeful? Are we?
This
excited?
conversation is much different this time next year, I think.
Beautiful. That's what I'm looking forward to. In a positive way, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Oh, yeah. All right, folks. This is another one for MITA Unshackled. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
and
Jeff.
we
Thank you.
are